people, bonjour! Welcome back on the podcast. Today is a good day too. That is becoming for this year a special. This month is a good month too. Where every month I'm taking you on an exclusive journey behind the scenes of my preparation towards Paris 2024 Olympic Games. I am so happy to be with you right now while you are listening to this episode. And if you're new here, welcome on board. My name is Lucie Herman. I'm a field hockey goalkeeper playing for the French senior women national team and for the Dutch club called Den Bosch. Besides playing hockey, I'm also an aspiring high-performance coach. What is the purpose of this podcast format? Every month, I'm sharing with you 3 or 4 key questions, key topics related with events that happened to me or around me during the month prior. So the goal is to reflect on some situations and grow from them. During each episode, I'm sharing with you mindset tips and personal thoughts I'm personally using when I'm facing difficult situations. And I'm going to share it with you the most relatable way possible for you to apply it in your own daily life. My biggest purpose with this podcast is to guide you to think a different way, to see things from a different angle, and overall to help you grow your mind, develop your mental strength, and becoming the best version of yourself. All throughout the episode, feel free to write down some notes on your phone or paper while listening, or you can also record some moments if you can't write at the same time, so that you can go back to what I said and to what you need easily. And of course, if you enjoyed this episode or enjoyed this podcast, you can subscribe and follow it on any platform you're listening your podcast on, so you won't miss any upcoming episodes. And if you're enjoying this podcast or found anything helpful and you'd like to let me know, or also if you just have any question about something I shared or something going through in your life, you can always send me a personal message on my Instagram page that is at Happy Lucy. I do read each of your texts and I always reply with the biggest pleasure. Now, just a quick reminder before we dive in, the several tips I'm going to share with you are not magic tricks to make you happy forever, neither magic tricks so that you will never ever be sad nor struggle a day in your life or anything like that, simply because that is not possible, and if that would be true, actually, life I think would be a bit boring. The sole purpose of sharing these tips with you is to give you some mindset tools you can practice, because yes, mindset is a practice, in order to navigate your daily life a bit better. That's it. All I want is to help you develop your physical, mental, and emotional capacities, as well as to become more capable of overcoming your own challenges. That's it. Last but not least, every piece of advice I'm going to share are not the only way to work on one situation. They are one way. It's very important to remember this, because if anything I'm sharing is not necessarily helpful to you, in the case I'm sharing it, then it's okay. No pressure. It doesn't mean you're going to be stuck in that situation forever. There are only ways that I'm not mentioning that could help you. This is not a 3 hours mindset masterclass on one specific mindset theme with like 10 ways to get better at one topic. It's a humble podcast episode about stuff that happened around my life and things I use personally to help me grow from that. Now, without further ado, thank you for having listened to this introduction. This month is a good month to reflect over October. Let's go! In this month episode, the 3 key topics and questions are the following ones. How to wake up feeling more joyful during your everyday life. How to increase our feeling of belonging in a group. And how to protect your relationship when you have an intense schedule or different priorities. Let's dive right in with topic number 1. So the key topic number 1, like I said, is how to wake up feeling more joyful and energized during our everyday life. One very efficient way to do this is to wake up and be grateful. Now, please stick with me. I'm sure you've heard or read about this gratitude or grateful words over and over again on social media or on the radio, anywhere. And maybe for you, it seems very cheesy or cliche or perhaps unknown. But once you try it and experience that empowering and uplifting feeling we get from practicing gratitude, you will understand it's not cheesy, nor cliche, no, not simple at all, but truly life-changing. Wake up and practice gratitude. For the French listeners, we would talk about la reconnaissance, être reconnaissant de quelque chose. And before digging into why am I talking about that topic this month, let's dig into gratitude itself and what it means. Because like I said, maybe some of you are not familiar with it at all or have a rough idea. So let me first ask you, what does gratitude mean to you? When you think about this word right now, how would you define it for yourself? What's one word or one image that is coming to your mind right now while you're thinking about gratitude? Gratitude means being grateful for someone or something that brings you good. Gratitude is a feeling of appreciation towards someone or something. So being grateful in a simpler way is appreciating someone or something you have in your life. And if I can add something, I would say that more than that, it's about being fully aware of that appreciation you have for someone or something. It is that action of deep awareness that makes the whole difference. So I'm gonna let you think now for like 30 seconds right now. I'm gonna put some easy, light music for us to practice gratitude together. Take 1 minute, take 30 seconds to think about the following thing. Who are people in your life you are grateful for having? What kind of gesture or help someone did for you that you are thankful for, that brought you joy, that made you smile? What's something that you have in your daily life you might have been taking for granted, but if you think about it, you're actually super grateful for having? You can think in your head or write it down if you have time, or you can also say it out loud. And try to smile while thinking of it all. Try to have a genuine, thankful smile while you're thinking about that person or that thing in your life or that random event that happened around you that made you smile. So, how did that feel? Good, eh? I can imagine that you feel a bit better, or just a bit more calm and peaceful. Thank you for being in that grateful state with me from afar. Congratulations, sunshines. We've just practiced gratitude together, and you've just practiced gratitude. See how it's simple? You can just think about it during your day, and it can be fully efficient. The other good side about practicing gratitude is that it helps you not taking small things happening in our daily life for granted, which is something that all of us, we tend to do all the time, me too, like naturally. And why do we take things for granted? Because we become used to everything happening in our everyday life. That's why I often say that happiness is in the daily little things that make us smile, that bring us joy. Whereas most of the time, and here is a problem in our society, we are always focused on getting the next new big things. And we think that getting that future things is going to make us happier. One easy example is that it's so typical to say, oh, I'll be happier when I'm on holidays in a few months. I'll be happier when I'm done with my studies or my work or my trainings, or I'll be happier when I change my job or my club or my house, or I'll be happier when I'm in a relationship, or when I fix that problem, or when I'm training better, or when I have different clothes, like whatever it is. But we spend our life thinking that we will be happier when something happens. When one big benefits of practicing gratitude is that practicing gratitude allows you to practice being happy now. Let me say that again for a second. We spend our life thinking we will be happier when something happens, when one big purpose of practicing gratitude is practicing being happy now. And why is that? Because it teaches you to be fully present in the present moment. And when you reach that state, you forget the future, you forget about the past, and you're just happy where you are. Now, Because this podcast is about sharing personal stories, here is a short story about how I started practicing gratitude. How often do you go through your days and you end up thinking, today was the worst day ever? Nothing good happened today. This is a sentence I said to myself when I was 16 years old after just a random day at high school. But after thinking that, I said to myself, no. You know what, Lucy? I do not want to believe that this is true, that nothing good happened today, and that today was the most awful day ever. It was almost like a personal challenge of proving myself wrong. I couldn't accept that this was true. So before going to bed, what I did was I took my phone and I started in the notes of your phone to think about and to write down three small things that made me smile during that day. And in that specific case of that first day, I wrote something about eating my favorite yogurt for breakfast, having a good laugh with my friends during lunchtime, and also I wrote listening one of my favorite songs, cycling to school. And this realization that some things, some little small things made me smile, helped me realize that today was not actually the worst day ever. There were some small things that brought me joy, but the thing is, our mind works a way that it's gonna hold on to the negative way more than on the positive. So it is so easy for our brain and for us to think about all the bad things that happen and to forget the one positive thing, the small positive thing. That's why it's a real practice, because we have to actually sit and think and reflect on the positive things that happen. And after doing that, I fell asleep feeling way more peaceful and joyful. And since that day, since I'm 16, so I'm 25 now, I kept asking myself that question every time I'm in bed, writing my answers down in a notebook, which I call now my gratitude notebook. And that habit became life-changing to my mental health. Because after a few months asking myself every day, what made me smile today? What was happening was I trained my brain to become more aware of little daily things happening during my day. Now, the question becomes, do you want to improve your mental health? Do you want to feel happier? Do you want to feel more energized or more uplifted every day? Even sleep better and reduce your anxiety level? If you want to do that, then practicing gratitude is the best mindset tools for achieving that. And if you want to learn more about gratitude and about neuroscience fun fact about how our brain works, you can listen to my previous Today is a Good Day to podcast episode, because I released 4 about gratitude. And I'm going to put the link of these ones in the biography of this episode to make it easier for you to get access to them. But like I said, you can simply start trying and writing down for the next 7 days, just 7 days, what made me smile today. And at the end of your day, see how that makes you feel. That's it. Just start small, start easy, start for 7 days. Before going to bed, write down about what made me smile today and see how that makes you feel. Now, why am I sharing this for this month episode? Because this is what happens in my life. Like always, we were in training camp with the national team. And one morning, when I woke up there, I was really waking up feeling super grateful. The typical, my body doesn't have it today. I have no energy, leave me alone. I don't want to talk, I don't want to socialize. Just like, I don't have it. Now, side note, because I always want to keep it real with you, even if I'm sharing with you the benefits of practicing gratitude every day, it doesn't mean that I'm now becoming like a gratitude robot and I'm capable of waking up every morning and be immediately super grateful and excited for the day. Some days I can, sometimes I wake up and while I'm lying in bed, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm thankful for this new day. And some days I'm more like, okay, can I just please stay in bed forever? Because I really don't want to get out. Which was the case of that one morning in training camp. My mood was more like, please send help, than, woohoo, I'm grateful. And sometimes also, again, to keep it real, I have that mood of please send help, and I'm not gonna try to improve my mood because sometimes it's just taking more effort and I don't want to put more effort. So no pressure. I'm not saying you have to practice gratitude and like do that every morning. If you do it some morning, it's already amazing. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is, like I said, I woke up feeling terrible, so I needed help because I needed external help to get going joyfully. I needed help to set my mind at a level that is aligned with my goal. And my goal is protecting my peace of mind, working hard and giving my best during trainings. So when I woke up being like, please send help, I don't want to do anything, that was really not like the level I wanted my mind to be, which is fine, which is no problem. But it wasn't aligned with my goals. And in that case, I was waking up at training camp. So I didn't want to allow my mind to stay at that very low level. So what I did was, like I often do, I went on YouTube and I searched for a motivational or inspirational speech. And I found one about gratitude, which was not necessarily my goal to find one about this, but it came in my YouTube suggestion video. And listening to this speech completely turned my mind from being all sleepy and grumpy to super joyful and motivated. Because here's the thing, sometimes we wake up and we feel sad or lonely or tired or lazy or lost. Whereas in some situations, in some morning, it's related with the fact that we are not inspired. And this is what that YouTube video did for me. It uplifted my mood through the new inspiration I received. Because when I woke up, I was focused on the feelings in my body, the feelings of tiredness, of laziness, almost of fears of having to go do some things I didn't have energy for. So that speech really inspired my mind. Like I said, I needed help to set my mind at a level that is aligned with my goals. So for you right now, you can ask yourself the same. When you wake up in the morning, what is your goal? On which point would you want help with? What I mean here is that maybe on one particular morning, when you're going to wake up, the question becomes, what do you want to work on? Like me, maybe you need help with your enthusiasm or your motivation, or maybe it's more like your self-confidence or your self-esteem or your procrastination. Maybe for you, the thing you can get out of this first topic isn't just to practice gratitude, but use my example of me reaching for external help by finding videos on YouTube to help yourself learning or getting inspiration on a specific topic for yourself. Maybe next time you wake up, if you are already thinking, oh my God, I can't do anything, I'm lazy, blah, 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 just go and watch a video on YouTube about morning affirmations. It's going to inspire you and give you the energy you needed. And if it's a different topic every morning, that's also possible and totally okay. So if you want to listen to the gratitude video I watched, I'm going to put the link of the full YouTube video in the biography of this episode. And in the meantime, here is an extract of what I listened. I'm sorry for the bad audio quality. I didn't do anything. It's like this on YouTube. So here is the speech.
You know, I ain't got to get up early, man. I said, what's up? He said, I'm really disappointed in you, man. He said, man, when you going to change your attitude? I said, ain't nothing wrong with my attitude. He said, yeah, it is. He said, when you wake up in the morning, man, you got a bad attitude, which pretty much explains why you've been having a lot of bad days. And he said, man, I hate that about you, man, because you're such a cool dude. You got so much potential.
Listening to this video deeply boosted my mood and helped me focus on more important things than my fatigue. Because thanks to listening to the motivational speaker vision, I was receiving external help, like I said, to switch my mind from my discomfort to focusing on how grateful I am actually to work for my goals, grateful for my physical health, grateful to be spending time with people I love, my teammates, my national team, grateful to be alive, and getting the opportunity to work. All these thoughts put a huge smile on my face, and my mood went from super low to ready to go. Like, yes, let's go, let's tackle the day, let's talk with my teammates, I'm excited, I want to go. Because like I said in the previous podcast episode of last month, it is so easy to lose the excitement during our daily routine because things are not an event anymore. It is exactly our routine. Thus what's happening is I'm taking for granted the opportunity I have to train with the national team. Last but not least about this topic, there is a quote I have in my room in front of my bed that I read very often when I wake up that always help me when I'm not waking up in a good mood. I recommend you to write it down on your phone right now. And even if you want, put it on your wall or put it somewhere you can see it every day as a daily reminder. It can be in your bathroom, next to a mirror, next to your clothes, next to your bed, anything, anywhere. But here is the quote. The first thing I do when I wake up is I smile to celebrate the fact that I'm alive, which is the greatest gift you could ever ask for. It means we have another day, another opportunity to pursue our goals and to become the person we want to be. Now let's dig into topic number 2. How to increase our feeling of belonging within a group. In my case, this was happening with my teammates from the national team, but we can extend it to any type of group of friends, co-workers, a team of volunteers, or any team environment. One side note before talking about this topic. What I'm going to share is related with how I felt in my situation. So it's a very specific situation. So I'm going to share some questions for you in order to think about it for yourself to make it as helpful and relatable as possible. Now, to be honest with you, this topic is a very vulnerable one for me to share, and I was doubting a lot about if I wanted to share it or not. But because this theme and some questions I had about my own sense of belonging were a lot in my head for the first 2 weeks of October, it was like a big theme of my month, so I decided to share it with you. To give a bit of context, as you know, this year is Olympic year, and I am so focused on the Olympics to a point where it's actually a bit extreme because I'm like 24/7 focus, which isn't super necessarily healthy or helpful. And as far as right now when I'm talking, I'm trying to find more mental balance. So I'm aware of that extreme focus and I'm trying to chill about it. But that's going to be for another podcast episode. Now, to give you a bit more context about how much I was too focused, we started iCamp from September to end of November. And until September to mid-October, when we were in camps, in between our gym sessions, instead of staying with the girls and talking and socializing and having a nice time with them, I would directly go back to my room to take a power nap, do some electrostimulation recovery, and then watch sport documentaries to get my mind ready to go train again. So I wouldn't want to socialize too much because I would see that as a waste of energy or waste of time to allow me to perform at my best during our gym session that was coming in like 2 hours after. Now, side note, there is nothing wrong or nothing bad about not wanting to socialize and preferring being by yourself. I'm not saying that you should not do that within the group, but what happened in my situation was because I was too focused on performing and being ready and pushing my mind, etc., it led me to a point where I didn't feel like myself within our national team group anymore. I was feeling like I was withdrawing myself more and more from the team, and by being extra focused, I noticed I had lost some of my joy and happy energy, and that realization about my own feelings in the team made me started to really overthink my sense of belonging in our team. So in order to help you increasing your own feeling of belonging within any group, I'm going to share with you inner questions that I ask myself. But before doing that, I'm going to share with you a bit more context about how I'm behaving in a group, because maybe some of you are a bit like me. The way I would describe myself in a team, whether it's a national team or my hockey club, is the following. I am not really the most talkative person in a team. I'm not the person who's making the best jokes or who like has the best or the funniest punchlines. It's not really me. Like I can be funny, I can make jokes sometimes, but I'm not known in the group as the funny one. When I'm in a group, I'm more the one who's listening a lot and asking questions to other people. And I'm really comfortable with doing my own things, like I said, spending time by myself. And overall, I'd say that my teammates see me more as that one teammate who's like always working hard and always positive and cheering for everyone along the way. I can be the joyful, happy, crazy one too, because sometimes I can be dancing or singing a lot during our gym sessions. So overall, yes, that's me in the group. And like I said before, I felt like I was losing a bit of myself because, for example, I was not singing or dancing or making some random jokes, like stupid jokes, like I could before. And besides, during dinner or lunchtime, I wasn't joining conversations that much, or I wasn't asking questions to my teammate that much. I was becoming more quiet and really in my own head. Like I was always focused on my trainings and my recoveries and like my thoughts, and that really made me starting to question my sense of belonging. Now, I think that it's always okay and always normal to feel that way sometimes, to question our own sense of belonging, to question, do they like me? Do they value me? Am I part of the group, yes or no? And how much I'm a part of the group? But even if it's normal, it's important to work around these feelings so they don't become too much overwhelming. So in my case, in order to help me deal with my negative thoughts and my overthinking, I did two things. I talked about it with my girlfriend, but you can talk about it with your parents or someone else that you trust and feel safe with. That's very important. Don't talk about it with anyone, but someone you trust and feel safe with. And I talked about it with a teammate. But overall, the main thing is I talked about it. Because when you're overthinking, you need someone else to get you out of that state. So the benefits I found from talking about it was getting an outside perspective from my girlfriend and from my teammate. Now, what talking about it did for me was to realize that not everything that is happening in my head is true. Some things are, like, yes, I am really too much focused on myself and on the Olympics. That is true, but no, it doesn't mean at all that the girls don't value me anymore all of a sudden, just because I'm less talkative. But however, if you can't, for whatever reasons, talk about it with someone, you can still write things down for yourself, even create a board and write down what is true, what is not, and think for yourself, okay, what do I think is actually true? What do I think is just me going too much in my overthinking state? And if you're really struggling with your feeling of belonging, you can take some notes right now or record the audio, because I'm going to share with you questions that I asked myself. So the questions are the following. How am I feeling within the group right now? How am I feeling about that feeling? Do I feel good? As in, do I want things to change or do I do not? If I want things to change, why yes and why no? What makes me wanting to change some things or change my behavior? Like, why is that? Did something happen that made me feeling less good within the group? And the way I think people see me within the group, is that true? Is that really true? And why do I believe this is true? How could I look at things from a different angle to help me change how I think people see me? That's very important. Try to look at things from a different angle to help you change how you think people see you. And how could you behave a different way that still feels true to you and who you are and who you want to be, yet still allows you to feel part of the group? In other words, how can you adapt your behavior to increase your own sense of belonging while still respecting your own boundaries? If you've been writing down these questions or just thinking about them in your head, you can see these questions a bit like your own inner best friend who's asking you a question and who's trying to support you in your own specific situation. Now, I have more questions for you that my girlfriend asked me that I found super helpful, but you can listen to them whether you are struggling with your own sense of belonging within a group, but as well if you are already part of the group and you would like to feel even better within it, or maybe you are going to step into a new group or a new team and you're a bit nervous about it. So here are the questions. What do I want to bring into a group? Which behaviors and values do I want my teammates or the people in my group to know about me? What kind of person do I want to be in the team? And why? Am I able to bring that into the group, yes or no? If yes, is it possible for me to keep going that way? If no, what am I willing to start doing differently, which feels true to me and still respect my boundaries and need? Because this is very important in order for you to feel safe within the group, that you're both respecting your needs and boundaries while still finding balance to adapt your behavior a way you can increase your own sense of belonging. For example, about that question, what am I willing to start doing differently? A way that feels true to me and still respect my boundaries and need. What I did was, after dinner, most of the girls are staying in the living room and we have tea together and we just talk. But I would not join these moments in the past, like at the beginning of our camp. I would just go directly to my room. So I started applying more balance between spending more time with the girls and chatting with them. And then I would go to my room after, let's say, like 30 or 45 minutes, when I start to feel within me that I'm like, okay, now I want to be alone. Now I want quiet time. Whereas in the past, like I said, I would immediately go to my room after dinner. And doing that was one of the things that really triggered my sense of belonging. The goal is finding balance between what you feel comfortable doing with the group and still sticking to your needs. Now, hopefully some things I said are going to help you a bit on your own journey with your group. And like I said, if you need, you can always DM me so we can discuss it together. Now let's move on to the third and last topic of this episode. How to protect your relationship when you have an intense schedule or different priorities. Now, when I say relationship, it can be, of course, a friendship or anyone in your family or your partner or a teammate, like anyone else. I'm not just talking about a love relationship only. The reason why I'm talking about this topic is because I've had some hard times a bit with my girlfriend recently. So we sat down, her and me, to have a proper conversation about what was happening in both of our heads. So that is a friendly reminder that talking about any problem or any situation that you have in your head with someone is super important, because nobody is a mind reader. I'm not a mind reader, neither is she. So talking about everything helped both of us feeling better. So for that topic, I'm going to share 4 mindset tools, but please remember they are one ways, like there are some tools. Every relationship and every person is different. So I'm not saying like this is the rule. This is what we did, but maybe something else would help you. So in my current situation, there are 3 mindset tools that helped protecting my relationship with my girlfriend, which are: number 1, setting expectations. Number 2, understanding what are the other person needs from you. Number 3, communicating how much of your time and energy you can give to the person and what are your own needs and boundaries too. It maybe seems like super simple, but it's actually super useful because these 3 things allow both of the person to feel equally seen, heard, and supported, which is one key of a healthy and happy relationship. Now, what does setting expectations mean? It's like defining in the relationship what is okay and what is not okay. It's a bit like defining the rules or the behaviors, like what's allowed, what's not, and what can I expect from my partner. About that one, if you're listening, you might think that we should not have rules or expectations defined in a relationship. And maybe you rather go with the flow, which is absolutely okay. So if you don't feel like this setting expectation tool is true or working for you, then leave it aside. But I'm saying this because in her past relationship, my girlfriend had a partner who had more the mindset to go with the flow or to see on the day itself what we'll do. But that was not working for my girlfriend, even if it was working for her partner, because her mind needs clarity and structure to feel more at peace. So one example about when we had our argument was because my girlfriend wanted to spend more time going out with me and her friends or having dinner with her family, when sometimes with all my trainings, all I wanted to do was to stay at home and to chill and go to bed early instead of spending energy being social again. But still, this was something to go out that is important for her. So as much as she is incredibly supportive of my schedule and my hockey goals, she also has her own needs. And in that case, she needed to feel supported as well with her own desires. So we sat down and we set the expectations that out of the 3 evenings or days we have together, she can choose one moment where I will go out to do social activities with her and with other people. But it can also be, for example, with your friends, if you're going out and you don't want to, let's say, drink, or you don't want to go out too late because you want to study the day after. You can, for example, set your own boundaries and check with your friends, hey, I want to, let's say, come for your birthday, but I have this exam tomorrow. Is it okay for you if I just come and I leave at like midnight? Or is it okay for you if I come but I don't drink because blah, blah, blah. So checking in and setting expectations with other people is going to allow you to stop overthinking and to be in a situation where both your needs and the other person's need are met. Because for anyone who needs more clarity, more safe space, more structure, more guidelines, and less overthinking, insecurities, or fear, this mindset tools of setting expectations can be relationship changing. Now, the second mindset tools about understanding the other person's needs might be super simple and easy, and one way you can do that is simply by asking them, what are your needs? What do you need from me? What do you currently need from me? And that can be hard for someone at the beginning if they have never been asked, hey, what are your needs? What do you want from me? So maybe sometimes they will need more time. They will say, I don't know, just whatever. But if you ask them again, you're going to help them to keep thinking about it, even for yourself. Maybe you have never thought, hey, what do I need from a partner? What do I need from my friend? So in some ways, it can be a practice. Again, when I had that conversation with my girlfriend, she told me, because as I have a busy schedule and sometimes I don't want to go out, she was feeling I don't want to be in her life. So from her sharing her needs with me, we worked on it and we set new expectations, just like I mentioned before, so that she feels that I want to be in her life and still I have the freedom to say no when I don't want to go out sometimes. It's always important to ask these simple questions, also to help you becoming a better support system for your partner or for your friends, especially when you don't see each other as much as you would like or when your priorities are different. Communication really is key. And the third mindset tool is same but different. It's letting the other person know what are your needs, what do you currently need from them, and if you have some specific ideas in mind, you can also let them know what kind of actions they can do to support you even more. And if the person doesn't ask you the question directly, like, hey, what do you need from me? You can also start the conversation by telling them or texting them like, hey, friend, I want to talk to you about something because, this is what's going on in my life right now. This is how my schedule is. And I would like to share with you how I'm currently feeling about what's going on in my life because I need your help. I need your support right now if it's possible for you. So please let me know when we can talk about it. At the end of the day, if you want to protect your relationship, it's super important to remember and to understand that it's never you versus her or versus him or versus them. Like, it's never you versus your friends or your partner, but it's both of you versus the problem, versus the situation. It's actually something I said to my girlfriend when we were having our sort of arguments. I said to her, it's not you versus me, it's us versus the problem. So I said to her, okay, what is the problem here then? Let's identify what's the problem and what are the solutions around the problem. I don't think that my girlfriend is listening to this podcast episode right now. I told her I will talk about her and us, but in that case, if she's listening, a big shout out to my girlfriend, because even if now I'm talking about some arguments we've had, her presence in my life is something I am so deeply grateful for. She's really the best partner I could have found, and having her this year, this Olympic year, it's like a blessing for me because this year would have been way harder if I didn't have her and her support by my side. Now, before ending this third topic, I have 2 bonus reminders on relationships. Friendly reminder number 1. Remember that sometimes someone can be triggered or annoyed by something you are doing simply because they are not used to that in their past experiences. For example, it's still sometimes hard for my girlfriend because many things are happening based on my schedule. It's a lot about me, as in like when I am here, when I am gone, when I am training, and when I'm out for camps for like how many weeks, and when are my tournaments, and when are my games. Of course, she works, but she doesn't have a partner with the same routine as her, and she's more used to have that. So now she's in a relationship where she has to accept and adapt. So it's important for me in that case to remember that she is not used to that And if she's triggered or annoyed sometimes, it is my job to accept it and give her time. Friendly reminder number 2, which works with anyone, remember that sometimes if you're having a new goal or a new behavior or a new schedule, it can be hard for someone who loves you to see your priorities change. And it can be hard for them to accept it, to accept that you're changing, because when you change, the version of the person they know about you is changing too. Let me say that again. When you change, when you're trying to bring new habits in your life, when you're having new priorities, it can be triggering for people who loves you because the version of the person they know about you is changing too. And sometimes it might scare them because they might start to worry, you're going to forget about them, you're going to give them less time. So it's important to remember that, because by doing so, you can also practice patience and practice giving more time to the person to see you change, to adapting to your new behavior, your new desires, instead of you getting angry at them if they are not supporting you straight away. So voila, that's it, champions. That's it for this month podcast episode. Remember to go check out the YouTube video about gratitude and also to check out the past episodes I released about gratitude if you want to learn more about this topic. And like always, before ending, here are the final 3 questions that you can reflect on about your own month. Question 1. What are the top 5 things you are grateful for the month of November? Question 2, which relationship or friendship you're having is super important for you right now? And how can you make sure that things remain good? Or how could you improve the situation a bit? Question 3, as we are stepping into December right now, what is something that could be hard for you to go through this month? And what are some things you are willing to start doing or to put into place in order to make this upcoming month easier for your mind? That's it, champions. Thank you so much for having listened. I am so grateful for your presence in this podcast. If you've enjoyed this podcast episode, feel free to share it with someone because, as you know, we get stronger together. Like always, I wish you to have a great day or a great evening. But if for whatever reasons you cannot have a great day, then that's okay. Just have a day. That's great too. This is a friendly reminder that you matter, you make a difference in this world, and there is nobody else like you. So thank you for being you. Please, 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 please take good care of you and of your mind and of your life because you deserve it. We will meet again for the next podcast episode. And until next time, work hard, dream big, and never give up. Okay, bye now. You're amazing!